fight against a common enemy, kaijus, gigantic monsters who for the last 60 years have destroyed every single major city again and again and again and again. It's a world where the UN exploits teen mutants as soldiers, as if no one ever read an X-Men comic. Also, there are aliens dressed like the Matrix. Honestly, it's an exhausting time to be alive. At any time, you could be murdered by a giant shrimp, a dogman, or a mind-controlled teen in dirt bike pads. That being said, what will it take for me to get you and your family into this top-of-the-line kaiju emergency bunker today? Welcome to Yesterday's Tomorrow Today, in the past-future world of Godzilla Final Wars.
Hello, and welcome to Yesterday's Tomorrow Today, the podcast about movies whose future has already passed. I am one of your hosts, Kyle McVeigh.
I'm Joey Reinish.
Welcome. Today, we have a bit of a loosey-goosey episode for you, I think.
This is an 11th hour panic. I'm like, is this enough for an episode? Probably.
I think there is. I think so.
I think there's enough in this for an episode taking all of kaiju-ness into account on top of whatever's happening here, because whatever's happening here doesn't make sense.
Yes. I think there's a lot to extrapolate from being a person living in a world where kaiju exist for 60 years.
Yes.
By the time this movie happens in like 2020, where this takes place in the normal Godzilla timeline where he's been around since the nuclear bomb.
Right. And it also, this is something that it's a pickle that they've gotten themselves in. Mm-hmm. Everyone loves Godzilla.
Yes.
But Godzilla was like always intended to be like an allegory or like a punishment to mankind.
Yes.
For what they are doing to each other and the planet. But like, fuck, Godzilla's cool.
Yeah.
Like, how do we get through this?
What this movie presupposes is, what if he's rad as shit and he fought on our behalf? Though, it is funny because I do feel like this movie jumps through like 20 hoops to get it back around to like, but Godzilla's fighting for us. But then at the end, they're kind of like, but he also, now he might fuck us up.
Yeah. Like, I love Godzilla, but almost universally hate watching Godzilla movies. There's like, I can't quite get both sides of that to hit.
Interesting. I do feel similarly.
Yeah.
I think that I've seen almost all of them at some point in my life.
Even all the verses, like the monsters that never came back?
I believe so.
Wow.
I think at some point in my life I've seen them all. But I am by no means, I think there are a ton of people that are like, Godzilla, this world, kaiju, they're my fucking thing, and they know everything about it.
Yeah.
My roommate is one of those people where like this is like his thing, and like I love it. I like, but I would say I'm like 50-50 if I sit down to watch a Godzilla movie about whether or not I'm like just
staying
checking
awake?
my watch, being like, all right, let's get to the twins are here again. All right.
Well, Mothra, I will say, had probably the most kaiju in it for one of those old-timey like movies like that. There was a lot of Mothra in there. And Mothra's another one where they're like, she's a good guy now.
Mothra was always good, though, wasn't she? She was always...
Yeah, well, it's because they stole the little ladies.
Yeah, she was just mad because
she was just a Punisher.
Ladies. Yeah, she was Punisher Warzone.
I have my Mothra jacket on in celebration of this episode. For whatever reason, okay, a little bit of backstory. Kyle and I in college started a group with a friend of ours, Anthony, called Godzilla, which was giant organism destruction of zoological and something, basically so we could rent out a room in the telecom building and watch this movie on a projector.
Yeah, it was, I don't know why they made you jump through hoops, but we basically had to fake start an organization through the college and like write a bullshit charter for it.
Yeah.
Just so like on Friday nights we
had
rent out
access.
this giant lecture hall with a huge projector to watch dumb fucking movies. And this was maybe the first one we watched.
It was the first one. That's why
Yeah.
it was called Godzilla.
Yeah.
And then the next year, Anthony graduated and I took over.
Yes.
And I started Mothra,
Forgot about that.
which was movie observations that are not really Asian. So
We expanded.
We
beyond Japanese cinema.
yeah, it was just like basically drive-in, but we had access to a projector in a lecture hall. And so this movie will always hold a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
But every time I watch it, I enjoy it less.
I will say that I think this is a movie that is, if you are in a theater and pretty drunk,
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a movie that I enjoyed it last night, but I also watched it with another person that was really enjoying it.
But
But
your roommate watch it?
Yeah, but I think if you like, I think this is the type of movie that's like perfect midnight matinee.
Yeah.
If you are in a full theater, like if you're in the New Bev full theater, most of the people have like just came from dinner with like 3 or 4 drinks in them. This would be a fucking banger top to bottom.
Yeah. This movie has probably the most entertaining people part.
Oh yeah, but this is the problem. They leaned too hard. They tried to fix the people portion of every Godzilla movie is the worst.
Is when you go to the bathroom.
Yeah, it's the worst part. And in this one, they leaned too far the other way to try to make the human stuff compelling, that you basically have 2 separate movies happening at the same time.
You do, but I prefer that. I prefer that to the stereotypical, like, Godzilla's coming and he's real. They're like, fuck
Yeah.
you. He's not real.
Yeah, I do prefer this version of it where they're like, well, the human stuff should just be its own anime. And we should have aliens and mutants and superpowered teens.
You know what?
And it's
You're
like,
right. You should. You should.
You actually should.
Yeah.
Flying drill submarines and shit like that. Like, absolutely. You should. Thank you.
I, for whatever reason, remembered there being more monsters. Because, like, you get...
The monster parts happen pretty fast.
There's 2 chunks.
Yes.
There's the chunk where all the monsters come out and start destroying shit.
Yes.
And then there's a chunk where Godzilla moves through them like levels in a game.
Yes.
And the fights last for probably 30 seconds.
Yeah, he goes
each.
through them pretty fast.
He like takes the giant mantis and impales him on like a telephone pole or something.
Cuts through them.
It's so fast, and what a fun game that would be.
Yeah. Oh.
I would play the shit out of that game.
They should just make a brawler.
I feel like they did.
Did they make a
for,
Godzilla brawler?
For like GameCube, but I never got it.
We should get it.
I had one called War of the Monsters, which is a PS2 game made by the Twisted Metal people.
Yeah.
That game is good.
Yeah.
But it's just like their knockoffs of all the monsters.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah, no, it was still really good.
Rampage. Love Rampage. Okay, before we get too deep into it, let me give you some
I would
facts
love to
about
hear
this.
your synopsis of the plot of this.
It's pretty good. This movie was made in 2004. It is directed by Ryuhei Kitamura. I probably said that wrong. I looked up how to make sure I got his first name right, and then I forgot how to say it. So it's not probably incorrect. He is a huge Japanese director. He's done a fuck ton of movies, most of which I have never seen. His only American Western film is Midnight Meat Train, which is
great title.
Like, kind of, first of all, yeah, he nailed it in one.
Well, that's a Clive Barker movie, I think.
I think it is, and it's, if I remember, I think it's a pretty fun, like, horror thriller thing. Like, it's,
if you're going
Vinnie
to Midnight,
Jones is in it.
If you're going to Midnight Meat Train, you're going to that movie.
Yeah, I think he made Midnight Meat Train.
Okay,
like,
good,
I think it lived up to the title, if I remember.
Okay.
He also wrote it with Isao Kiriyama and Wataru Mimura. This must be painful to hear me say any other name. That's like I.
What about the cast?
My voice is so painfully white. Oh, so cast. I didn't even put everyone in here, and that is not it. That's honestly out of fucking respect, because I'm not gonna butcher. Also, this cast is gigantic.
It is
There's
gigantic.
like 40 characters in this movie. And ultimately, really, the only character that makes a true impact, which once again, not great, because the biggest character that's made a lasting impact on me and you and most anyone that's ever seen this movie is Don Fry, the weird wrestler, like commander white guy in this movie.
Fucking do it, whatever.
They write him, I mean,
to his strength.
Yeah.
Which is just saying stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what? He's like the quip machine. Like, he replies.
I wouldn't say he's a machine. He delivers them very slowly.
Well, yeah. No, but what I mean is, he like press a lever and a quip comes out. Like,
it's 100%. They wrote him as, they were like, we're gonna write you like what we think Arnold would be.
Yeah.
Like, they wrote their version of an Arnold character, and you know what? I think it fucking works.
It's great. And he also, because I watched a dub version last night, because I had actually never seen a dub version of it.
Yeah.
And it was dub. It lessens how funny it is a little bit because everyone's speaking English then. But in the real movie, Don Fry is speaking English.
Yeah.
Everyone around him is speaking Japanese. And they just respond to each other.
Well, this is an interesting point to this world, which maybe we can, maybe this is a thing, but we imply, because this actually happens quite a bit, where like some of the mutants will interchangeably go between full English and Japanese.
Yeah.
And then like there just seems to be, like, even if everyone's not speaking the same language, they all understand each other. Clearly.
I think it's that everyone outside of America understands English because their educational system is better.
But okay, so do you think Don Fry has no clue what anyone's saying?
No, he's just saying his stuff, and then they follow him.
He's in an echo. He's just like in a vacuum saying cool shit.
Yeah. Well, but it's gonna kill thousands of people. Punch it harder or something.
Drill it.
Yeah. His whole thing.
Yeah.
His main strategy.
Yeah.
Is, sir, this is gonna do X bad thing. Do it anyway.
Do it, you big bitch.
Yeah. And it like works out in spite of him.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think he just wants to die.
Oh, that man has a death wish.
And
but he also gets booty at the end for some reason. There's like an inexplicable love story between him and that.
Like that close up of his face when he's just like, hey
now.
That's runaway material.
Licks his lips at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a quick synopsis. God, this is really hard to do with this. Okay, it's a very
I'm excited. I want it.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to read it as I wrote it.
Okay.
Kaiju exists. Godzilla's frozen. We use mutants to fight the kaijus. The kaijus attack, but aliens called Zillions stop them. The Zillions say we're going to be destroyed by a rogue planet. So mutants find out that they're lying and actually control the kaiju and want to eat us. So the aliens release all the kaiju to fuck things up. So Don Fry releases Godzilla to fight all the other kaiju. Godzilla wins. We all win.
I think that's pretty good. Fucking A, man. This movie doesn't make any sense.
It's
like everything.
There's so much stuff happening in this movie, which is like, I know that we were worried about there's not enough to talk about. Like, if we were going plot point by plot point,
this would be a 6-hour episode.
More than enough to talk about. But it is like, I think it's one of those movies where like they don't really focus on what the future looks like, but it's on us to really extrapolate what we know, what little things they give us of what the future is like here.
Yeah, well, and I think one of them, like we were saying earlier, it's universal to the kaiju worlds in general.
Yeah,
in which you live in a world where kaiju exists.
Yes, I hate it.
Oh yeah,
I would not like that.
When I lived in the Midwest, tornadoes scared me.
Same vibe.
Yeah, when I lived
hurricanes, tornadoes, same vibe as kaiju.
Huge earthquakes. Every time I think I hear an earthquake, I like stop everything and look at something dangling.
Yeah,
just to see.
Absolutely.
Like it's that. Only this time, if you realize it's happening, it could be a giant monster about to like step on you.
It's yes. So this is a future where at least 60 years, these creatures have existed since Godzilla emerged, and now like 20 other kaiju. I can run through all the kaiju that are in this movie. These are minimum all the ones that this world have seen. Godzilla, Mothra, Manda, he's a sea dragon, Gigan, chainsaw hands.
Mostly saws and knives in that one. It's weird.
Rodan, who's basically a bat. Manila, who I keep calling Gatsuki, but it's not Gatsuki, but
separate,
Gatsuki is basically still the son of Godzilla. Angurius, that's the spiked turtle. Zilla, which is what they call...
Angurius is similar, but legally distinct from guy. What the fuck is his name now? I'm totally blanking. The other spiked turtle.
Oh, but he doesn't roll it. Well, he's not even a spiked turtle. He's more of a spiky armadillo because he rolls up out of the ball.
Armadillo.
Yeah, I got that wrong. But yes, there is another gentleman who's an actual turtle. Zilla, which is what in Japan they call the 1997 US version of Godzilla.
Gamera.
Oh, thank you. King Caesar, which is the tall dog man.
That thing is a Power Ranger villain.
I fucking love that guy. He's my favorite. He literally scores a soccer goal on Godzilla in this movie, and complete tonal shift.
He showed up
soccer bit,
and I've seen this movie probably half a dozen times. He still shows up, and I just went.
I keep thinking he's gonna come at me like this. There's Kumanga, that's the spider with a web net. Bira, that is the shrimp / crayfish. Hedora, smog pollution monster. Monster X, which is a new one made for this movie that's made by the aliens. And then its final evolution is Kaiser Ghidorah, which is...
He's always the bad guy.
Ghidorah's always a bad guy. Well, he's got the most heads.
Yeah, so I guess it makes him the strongest. Yeah.
I guess. But that's... The world you're living in is...
All these things
boys
exist.
Could show up at any time, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I don't know... So
how do we not at least have the Dread style, joom, 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 joom?
Yeah.
If you are going to make buildings that are taller than one floor still,
yeah,
you are building armor.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that would do much, but at the very least, you're cutting down on shrapnel or windows exploding.
How are you, if you're a coastal city, especially, you're Tokyo, which is, assuming in this world, has been destroyed and rebuilt at least 10 times.
Yeah. Very quickly.
At some point, aren't you doing the Attack on Titan thing where you're building a big metal wall around the city at least? If you're going to keep rebuilding the city, at least aren't you building a barrier to where or maybe it's been destroyed so many times where they're like, I don't know if a barrier even
I bet
matters.
they couldn't even
because if Mothra shows up, who cares?
So many of them fly. So many of them, like the grasshopper or whatever, or the mantis have super jumping because they're not like the Attack on Titans. Those things are just like giant people.
Yeah.
So they can't, if they make them like a slick wall.
So they have people problems.
They have people problems.
Yeah. We can't get over a big fence, so neither can gay.
Yeah. As long as it's a slick wall, you're stuck. But I feel like here, you can at least do something for the individual buildings.
Yeah.
Okay, this is skipping ahead a little bit, but at the end of the movie, they're like, Godzilla did it.
Yeah.
He killed all the kaiju. Yay! And then they show Godzilla, and it's just rubble, destroyed cities.
Yeah, no, he
hundreds of thousands of deaths.
Yeah, he did a world tour. He destroys Sydney, completely
the
obliterates
Opera House
it.
just threw a thing onto it.
Yeah,
even if Unleash Godzilla. For one, Don Fry's responsible.
Yes, it's completely his fault.
For he
saved the world, but at what cost?
At what cost? He's killed millions and billions of people.
Yeah.
But 60 years is a long time.
Yes.
These places should bare minimum have a bunker.
Yeah.
A Fallout style bunker.
That's what I would think. I assume minimum they have hurricane style alert systems and bunkers.
Yeah.
Right?
But I was, because they've had to rebuild it so many times.
Yeah.
You'd figure they would want to do something that would leave their city more intact.
Yeah.
After an attack. Because still, if you're under a bunker, you're alive.
Yeah.
But everything you had, your house is gone. Probably the entire city. So it's not like you could even be like, I need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
There's
no infrastructure anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's been obliterated.
That's like setting a city back 100 years. Or some shit.
That's the thing where I would think that in this future, most of your coastal cities, which I think we agree are at most danger.
Yes.
Probably.
I think, because, like,
there's a lot of sea monsters. There's a lot of them that emerge from the sea.
But then they just cut and they're like, oh, he's there.
Yeah. But it's like, I would think most of your, like, I understand Japan's a little different. That's an island nation.
Everywhere is the coast.
But it's like in America, like if you're like in Los Angeles, like you're like, okay, we're not living in, everyone's moving inland.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if you're in a kaiju world, all of a sudden the Midwest is very crowded.
Yeah.
Because
I'm into Kansas now. What's going on here?
Like I would think that like Los Angeles would be like the only people who live here are the people that it's completely necessary to do like boat shit.
Yeah.
Like trade and commerce requires docks and things being flown in. It should be like a business hub, and like beyond that, like just like no one else is here.
Well,
like,
I think you're right. I think everything moves from the coast in.
Yeah.
And it's like North Dakota to Texas is where the United States is now.
Yes.
And then on the sides are gradual escalations of securities.
Yes. Yeah.
That extend to the shores.
Yeah.
Because if they do come from the ocean, they get through a barrier. Your coasts are lined with infantry and military and missile systems.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Something to slow them down, or at least turn them away before they get too far inland.
At least. And then if you even do like some sort of wall system, you hit the state lines, then you have the thing that can just close over top of the entirety of North Dakota to Texas.
Yeah.
Just closes over the top, like we're going turtle.
Yeah.
Because what they got past the 5 other things.
And that's like, I feel like the US and Canada have like the best version of that, where we actually have the space to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone else is like, like everyone is much smaller.
Yeah.
Like Australia. Yeah. I mean, you're going to lose Sydney. Obviously. We all knew that. But like it is.
Maybe you just go full District 13, not to bring in another pop culture reference.
Sure. Yeah.
You just go, your continent is entirely underground now.
I mean, fucking maybe. I don't know. I don't like, my other thing is like they have, which makes sense to me, they have made like a global defense unit.
Barely.
But like fucking barely. Right? Like I feel like, what do they fucking call
Earth
it?
Defense Force.
The Earth Defense Force.
Which for one is a video game series called Earth Defense Force.
Of course.
Where they fight, and I'm not joking or being hyperbolic, giant ants.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like you just you're going around, you have kind of some like robot-y armor, and you just shoot giant ants. So first,
I'll play it.
Earth Defense Force is a thing.
Yeah.
Up to like game 5.
Yeah.
And then the subsect of Earth Defense Force is Project M or whatever.
The M organization.
M organization.
Yeah.
And they're mutants. Boy, are they underwhelming. They do normal people stuff, but with anime hair.
I mean, this is like the whole other. I mean, this is
whole section.
The problem with this movie is like when you're talking about it, is it's like it's already like we could already do basically an hour on just the implications of what it is to live in a kaiju infested world.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, there are 2 other things. One of those is that another world earth-shattering view thing has happened in this world, and that is that mutants have emerged.
Yes.
And they have powers, kind of. They don't really.
They wear BMX armor,
which I love.
Yeah, you wear BMX
Obviously.
armor. Your hair gets taller.
Yeah.
You wear some mascara.
Yeah.
And then you can like sketch with your bare shoes. I think that's kind of your main power.
Well, it's like they're clearly supposed to be stronger.
Yeah.
They're
just people plus.
I think that they're supposed to have. I'm just trying to think of things they demonstrate. I think they're clearly stronger. They can clearly jump, do wire work, do things like that.
Yeah.
Stuff that you would expect. Almost fly.
They can do things. Didn't they like kind of do like a little phasey thing where he like slammed someone down and it was like he changed locations maybe that was just to imply he moved really quick.
I have no idea.
There's no Nightcrawler.
Well, then at the end,
there's
nothing
no
makes
Magneto.
Sense. Yeah, they're
There's
the worst
no...
version of mutants.
Yeah.
They're not. No one has like a really cool power. No, they're not different things. I was gonna say even the stuff they show, it's just like they're not even super strong. They're just stronger. Their leaping abilities are probably the best thing that they have going for them. I think at one point, one of them demonstrates that he has really good focus. Like, he doesn't have to use a targeting computer.
I guess.
And then at the very end, they're like, they're all telepathic. And I'm like, okay, when did we find that out? Like, they don't use it. Like, fucking use it if you're a telepath.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other thing where you're like, oh my God, now you have the X-Men going on top of this world where you're like, great kaijus. Fuck. Mutants?
But it's just a world where all the X-Men are the same. Like there was no like, you can do this, you can do this.
Yes.
Like the mutant M gene triggers in your body.
The M base.
The M base, sorry. Because that's part of the kaijus as well.
Yes, we find out later on that the aliens that are invaded are genetically related to both the kaiju and the mutants.
So
they never really explain any of that.
Have kaiju in them somehow.
Yes.
Maybe they live
and
near
aliens in them.
Toxic water source or something.
It's really hard to tell.
I don't think they even
Listen,
care.
they're not into explaining this stuff.
All I know is they are mutants and they just still fight with like the weapons that a normal human person.
Yeah, they just have like big guns
rockets,
and bazookas. That's it.
And they don't do shit.
It just feels like a human force, no matter how more like, yes, unless you're literally the X-Men where someone has eye blasts and another person flies and has super strength and another guy teleports, another guy has big claws. That I see how you could take down maybe a big monster.
Yeah.
But if it's just basically humans that have better guns, like when Crayfish goes down, whatever his name is, I forget his fucking name. When he goes down, when they kill the giant shrimp, I'm like, no way. No way. No way that these like 6 teens kill a fucking shrimp monster. He's huge. He got armor.
Every time you stop, like I have something, every time you stop, it's just like I start to think of the scene in the movie and my mind goes completely blank. They just have like, there's nothing cool about them. Like it's just like, hey, mutants exist, and it's just like I can dunk.
I mean, I guess the only interesting thing about having mutants in this movie is that you just know that in the background you're basically, I guess, similar to the X-Men, probably having similar conversations. Like everyone's kind of like, "Ugh, keep those guys away from me." No, thank you. And then the government, and then the world government is basically like, "Hey, we should weaponize these guys and use them as teen soldiers."
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "That's cool because they're not human. Make them work for us."
Well, I think that's a good thing you just touched on. We can pivot to.
Yeah.
Outside of Earth Defense Force.
Yeah.
This is doing like the full Watchmen angle of there is a thing for us to unite against.
Yes. But we still didn't.
But we still kind of don't.
Didn't. Yeah.
But there is one.
But we didn't. That's the whole thing. It's like the world united. Not really. We kind of just gave the UN more carte blanche to fight these guys, and we're probably all funding the Earth Defense Force in some way.
XCOM, but
but no one like, it's not like we're a united planet all of a sudden in one big happy planet with one president. Like clearly that's not the case.
But if there was 16 kaiju around the planet, I think even if they were not here, this is the thing that's missing from these movies. There would be, here's how you can do a fun human angle in one of these movies is we got fucking kill it before it comes back.
Yeah.
You would have these kaiju hunters that are like, no, we're not going to wait for it to show up. Yeah. Because clearly they could be making more of them. Maybe there's other ones there.
Maybe they're making babies. Who knows?
And that's meat.
Yeah.
we're feeding an entire continent.
Yeah. And then everyone gets to eat.
And then they turn into mutants.
Yeah.
And then we have more.
And then we have more mutants.
More M's for the Earth Defense Force.
And for the aliens to control. There's so many things on top of each other. Because that is like, yeah, the Earth Defense Force is not really, like, we haven't united as a planet. We've barely done that. We're using child soldiers, basically. Because I'm sure these guys are all supposed to be like 13 or 16, however old they are. I feel like that's just standard anime fare where they're just like, yeah, we're all 14. It's like, well, you're a grown man.
When you have the powers, you're older.
You're older. It's fine.
But and they have a dumb ship. They have a dumb drill ship.
I love their ship.
Most of the time, I have no idea why that would be useful.
Their main, I will say that one of my favorite things in the world is in any sci-fi movie where they're like, yes, our future ship, flying ship, and it's shaped like a gun. That's my favorite. Aliens, that's my favorite gun-shaped ship.
Aliens, a gun.
When the ship that the Marines come in, it's shaped like a gun. Watch it again. It's shaped like, it's 2 on the nose. But it's my favorite gun-shaped ship.
I haven't seen sci-fi. I've seen Alien more recently than Aliens. Yeah. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, but I love any time that a ship is shaped like a gun. But then
we'll do our Aliens episode in 1,000 years. By the way, that's gonna take a little while.
I can't wait. But yeah, I love. There is a flagship of the Earth Defense Force called the Gotengo.
Also,
which is
Earth Defense Fun is a good time.
Hey, Earth Defense Fun.
The Earth Defense Force is Earth Defense Fun.
Join today.
Do your part. Talk to Don Fry for it so we don't have to.
We're having the Earth Defense fundraiser. for today, low price of $6.99, you can get this T-shirt with Godzilla face on it.
Don Fry just sits in the middle of the drill shop. It's like, push it to turn 180. Dude. That's like they say he's like this tactical genius, but I think he just doesn't give a shit if anyone he's in control of dies.
He's a tactical genius in terms of, yes, he doesn't care if anyone dies, and then he's willing to go with the most insane plan that no one would ever do.
Because it puts so many other people in jeopardy.
He basically goes to the South Pole, and there are these 2 little gentlemen just living there. They're like, well, we're the last 2 people alive on Earth, probably. We're just enjoying ourselves. And then Don Fry shows up, and he's like, I'm getting Godzilla out. And they're like, what? Oh, fuck. And then they die!
Did he blow them up?
Yeah!
Okay.
Those 2 lovely gentlemen that were just like having their tea and like being like, well, this is what it's like to be the last men alive. Guess we're going to probably fall in love.
With his mesh
and then
shirts,
they die.
Where you see his nipples through his mesh shirt. They're just having the time.
They're just enjoying themselves. They're just like, they've clearly somehow in the past 12 hours come to terms with the fact that they're alone. And it's fine.
I think they were looking over the site where they know Godzilla is frozen.
Yeah.
And they're stationed in Antarctica.
Yes.
And everything is fucking chill. And then Don Fry shows up. It's like, launch every missile we have in our drill ship.
Yeah.
Where Godzilla is. And as soon as Godzilla wakes up, he fucks those guys up.
Fucking kill these
for like no reason.
Lovely gentlemen.
Godzilla's on our side.
Yeah. Oh, you did it.
See, I told you he'd kill stuff.
Godzilla hates gay marriage.
Basically.
I don't know if those guys were married, but it gave me, they had old married couple vibe to me.
Yeah, well, the room they were in is very small, and they had a good rapport, and it was just like, why fuck up their whole thing?
It's just they were ready to live a peaceful existence on this hellscape for the rest of their lives.
I can't imagine being in the world where kaiju exists and be like, look, we finally got rid of one of them. Probably the worst one.
Yes. Easily the worst one. I think they very much imply Godzilla easily. I mean, he's the king of monsters.
King of monsters.
You don't earn that title for being, I don't know.
The queen of monsters.
A crayfish.
Yeah. Or a mantis.
Yeah.
Or that dog man.
Yeah.
But
King Caesar. First of all, best name, best look. Best soccer skills.
Best clearly dressed like a man dressed in a fuzzy outfit.
Most obviously a man.
Yeah. But it's like we finally got this one.
Yeah.
And we're going to wake it up.
Yeah.
I can't imagine in 60 years they have not come up. Like, if you have Godzilla frozen, you're doing core samples. You're drilling into Godzilla.
Yeah,
you're extracting things.
You're
and
learning
like,
as much as humanly possible.
What
you've built Mecha Godzilla?
Oh yeah, by now for sure. Which is a huge omission.
Crazy that they don't have their own Mecha Godzilla in this, but
which I do like how they brought Mecha Godzilla into the modern one.
That was the only thing that made sense.
Oh, that movie?
In that movie.
Yeah.
I don't like that movie.
I don't either.
I know a lot of people love that movie.
No, it's not good.
I think it is a very not good.
Yeah.
And there's a couple set piece fights in there. Basically, every...
You're talking about King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yes. There's like 2 fights in that movie where I'm like, wow, they super didn't do the cool thing.
Where you jump to the other side of the upside down
underground fight?
Yeah.
Why would you set up the flip of like the reverse of the gravity if you're not gonna have that in the
fight? Where you jump to the top of the mountain from the other mountain?
Why?
Yeah.
Why do you not do that? And the fucking fight on the aircraft carrier. It's like, cool. He's underwater. I get it. I mean, that's cool. I mean, like, once again, like, on paper, that's a cool idea, but like visually, that's fucking boring.
Yeah.
And not what I want to see. I want to see them both very clearly above the water duking it out.
Yeah. But you're figuring out by now, if you have Godzilla trapped for 50 years or whatever it was, you've figured out how to take these things out with like a bullet from a pistol.
Yeah.
Like a silver bullet to a vampire.
Yes.
There's no way with how gun obsessed and defense obsessed.
Yes.
Even the United States.
Yeah.
We're like, we're going to fucking figure this out. So if this ever happens again, we're the hero.
Well, this is why I mean, I think this is why I love Pacific Rim, because Pacific Rim is like, well, first of all, what I just said, it's the coolest. I mean, Guillermo del Toro is amazing at this, but he's like, what's the coolest thing? I love kaiju. What's the coolest version of that? Oh, yeah, Gundams.
Yeah.
We would make Gundams to fight them. And like, logically, I'm like, yeah. The first thing that America's response would be is like, we got to pump billions of dollars into Gundams.
Yeah.
We got to go toe to toe with these boys.
We are not rolling up with those cars with the 6-shooter rocket on the back still.
We are not rolling up with a team of teens that are like better at arm wrestling, slightly better than arm wrestling.
And they can jump higher.
They're just teens with dad strength.
Oh, God. Nothing can stop them.
Like, I just think... Yeah, it
core samples,
research,
DNA, science. A 3-year-old could kill a Godzilla.
Aren't we learning how to use his energy conversion to power our Gundams?
That's the new nuclear reactor.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't he changing the world further? Aren't we using his natural energy to power the world?
We just made a better Godzilla movie. Like a world in which Godzilla is just an ice cube.
Yeah.
And what have they gotten out of it?
Yeah.
And then Godzilla gets free.
Yeah.
And then, like, how do we fight Godzilla with Godzilla shit?
Yeah.
So Godzilla has to change again and get stronger.
Yeah. Can we... This is a complete non sequitur, but it has to be mentioned.
Okay.
That, first of all, I really like the Godzilla design in this movie.
Yeah, it's good.
I think he's great.
It's pretty classic.
I like his tiny ears. He has like little tiny ears.
Yeah.
The whole time. But I was stone sober while watching this, but the whole time I was like, he'd look good with an earring. Like one little hoop in one of his ears.
But it would be
I
like...
couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, I think he'd look really good.
It would be like, though... Like, you could get that across in fiction by being like, had chains, like hooking him down, and then he like broke his chains off, and one big chain link. I'd be like, he'd look so good. He just has these tiny little ears. I was like, it'd just be very tasteful. I think he'd look good. I did not think of that, but I would still look at it and enjoy it.
Look at a picture of this guy. There's no way that wouldn't improve the experience.
I do love, I will say, and it was my favorite part seeing it, back in college.
Yeah.
Is that they separate American Godzilla 1997 from this
and
Godzilla.
He's killed in 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Yes.
And I thought that was very funny.
Yes. Yeah. they really get the final word on that.
Yeah,
which I appreciated. Which my understanding, yes, I believe that movie, soundtrack aside, because the soundtrack is bangers top to bottom. But soundtrack aside, yeah, that movie is, I believe, hated across the world.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
Godzilla, a woman?
Get out of here! Though now I do think you could do a version of that. Like, it's not a bad twist. Once again,
I think
on paper, I think that movie is not bad.
I think it was
execution.
It could change. Wasn't that it? It could change genders. So it switched to being a woman because it was like part crocodile or something.
I don't remember.
It looks stupid. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I also think that it's like one of those things where it's like, on paper, I don't necessarily think any of that is a bad idea. But I think there's like, you're overcomplicating it, first of all.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I think you're just like, I think what that movie did was like, if you gave me that script, I'd be like, well, that all makes sense. But then it'd be like, but you're kind of missing what the fun part of
it's watching
these movies are.
Teens fight.
It's watching anime teens fight the big monsters. Not bad. Well, I mean, I will say, anime teens fighting big monsters is better than Inspector Gadget fighting monsters.
That's
better
true.
than Ferris Bueller fighting monsters.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller's better.
They did fix that by making little baby ones that are man-sized.
Right. And that, even Cloverfield
not a complication I have a problem with necessarily.
No, I think because it allows you to change up the scenery, and it's hard to make it like a tense moment when the thing is so big and can just knock over the building you're in. But like, they escape to the sewer, and then just like raptor like shit down there.
Yeah.
But like, I think Cloverfield is probably the best kaiju movie that's come out since Cloverfield. And even that
Cloverfield's the best since Cloverfield?
Yeah, like that's like, since Cloverfield came out, that is, I think, the gold standard for a kaiju type movie.
Yes.
You feel like you are in it.
Yeah.
It's panicky.
Yeah.
But even they did like little ones.
Yeah, I have no problem with the little ones. I don't know, Tremors 2? Love Tremors 2. That's great.
Their weird wet flaps.
I love their wet flaps. I think
you say
it works.
that about a lot of things, though.
Yeah, but that's, I mean,
Kyle loves a wet flap. What can we say?
I don't think it's
I'd crush a wet flap.
Love a wet flap. Listen, I just love moist things.
Yeah, I know, bud.
That's all it is. We have to talk about it because, once again, yes, this is a movie where it is a future where I don't really know what the timeline of the movie is. It feels like it's a very short time, but I don't know. It also has to be months upon months, doesn't it? Because in this movie, once again, this is a future where we see us make first contact with aliens who are dressed like the Matrix.
Pretty cash about it, too.
We immediately trust them. But I think it's because they teleporter away all the kaiju.
Right.
And we're like, that's cool. I mean, yeah, you're our friends now.
Yeah.
Which I don't know.
It's probably my fault. I probably got distracted.
Yeah.
There was like some sort of alien coup.
Yes.
By sharp eyebrow alien.
X.
Kills
X.
bald. Yeah, X. It's a cool
X,
name.
The one that we make into like a J-pop, K-pop international star immediately. Which, if they were humanoid, good-looking humanoid aliens, we probably immediately would give them a reality show.
They'd sound like that guy that did the Bubble song. Like, that guy.
Who the fuck is... Tiny Tim?
No. What's
what you're talking about?
Yes, you do. Where they redubbed it to make it talk about cryptocurrency, the bubble.
No,
fuck off. You know what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about? Holy shit.
Oh, what is his name?
Wow, we can't record.
He's like a pretend alien. His whole shtick is that he speaks like an alien language and he'll rap in an alien language. God, fuck off. You know what I'm
talking about?
Oh, what is this?
That's Joey, that's fucking fake, man.
No, it's not.
What? I mean, I hope someone's listening to this and screaming at their fucking stereo right now. There's no way. Are you talking about Babu Frick?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay. Just kidding. Wow, we're really gonna. You have to look this up right now. Okay.
This guy.
But
I'm gonna skip.
Oh, okay. But I don't know what the name of this guy is.
I do. It'll be on here. Vitas.
Okay. Forgot about that. Okay. Yes, you're okay.
Wait.
No, you're not insane. You're correct. But also
Fuck.
they made it a be about the crypto. Fuck. What? Jesus. You definitely made it sound like that he was a famous. You made it sound like he was
there. He is. And then in that song, in the real song, he does a breakdown rap that's nonsense gibberish.
I know. Yes. But you were acting like this guy is like the most famous person. You're like, yeah, the famous guy.
But he is famous.
He's not.
He's famous.
A meme.
No, he's not. This was outside of the meme. That meme exists because he's famous.
No, I think that meme exists because he's tremendously weird, not because he's
Look,
famous.
We both can be right. Okay.
I don't think that guy's.
I don't think
internationally known.
I don't think he could. Vitas for those at home.
Jeez.
Vitas
It doesn't.
Anyway, he could not fight kaiju.
No. Anyway, first contact happens in this movie. It kind of feels like that if they were humanoid, this is a little bit how they would go. We're immediately conned collectively.
Okay. No, rewind. Why did Eyebrows kill Bald One?
Oh, it's because the bald one
who was in charge.
So first of all, it takes a while to find out what their goal is. Their goal is they want to mine our resources and also use us as cattle because they want to eat our mitochondria, right?
So they've seen Star Wars.
Those are midichlorians.
Fuck.
But anyway, yeah, sure. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Was that what it was?
Still fake science. What?
Was it midichlorians?
It's mitochondria.
Oh, okay.
Well, midichlorians is in Star Wars.
Is that a fake thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the stuff that makes the Force.
Right.
I guess.
I thought they were the same.
No. One is fake and one is real.
Okay.
But both are equally fake reasons to do a thing.
Okay. You can see why it would be so confusing.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, so the bald guy wanted to do the good plan, which was we pretend to save them. He's basically like, we'll pretend to be their friends and slowly take over and then eat them. And then X, who has become a pop star, X, is like, fuck that shit.
I want to do it.
Let's dominate him now. Which I think Baldy had a good plan.
Yeah.
Because he immediately ingratiated them to us pretty fast.
By getting rid of the kaiju.
Yeah.
And now X is like, I'm just going to put them all back.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Kind of the opposite plan. Yeah. He was like, well, it's also a bad plan because he's like, we want to eat you.
But then we're going to kill all of you.
We want to kill all of you. Which, listen, he's not a... Listen, the guy's electric. He's got...
That mascara is so good on point.
He has presence.
Yes,
he has charisma, but he's not a planner. No doubt about that.
No.
He's not looking ahead the way that he should. Yes. What?
Did he intend at the end, because he takes John Fry in like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Was his plan to create like a breeding center with just them?
Oh. No. I mean, I'm sure they keep referring to us as cattle, so I would assume that implies at some point they would breed us for the food.
Were they gonna just have Don Fry as a stud?
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, but like
I bet he makes beefy mitochondria. Num.
But I swear, like, it's right at the end when they're like showdowning in their stupid dome ship.
Yeah.
Where they're like, and we kept you for.
Yeah.
Because we're going to harvest your... Like, they don't need this stuff only once.
Yeah.
If their plan is to destroy the whole planet, but they kept, like, some ladies and some dudes and Don Fry.
But you need enough of us to
know.
make enough to sustain their entire...
X is not a planner.
No, he's very bad at this. I will say that I hate the aliens in this. I think they're
the Zillions?
terrible.
You can't pronounce their name in our language. You just gotta call them Zillions.
I think at the same time, once again, I think this movie periods, like this entire movie's greatest strength is also its greatest flaw. The best thing about this movie is that 50 things are happening in it. The worst thing about this movie is that 50 things are happening.
And also it's a time vortex.
And also it's a time vortex. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I will say that in this future, everything is incredibly depressing looking. It does look like a world that's been rebuilt 20 times, and they're like, everything's just cavernous and empty.
Oh, the interiors of
all
stuff?
The interiors
Why
of
bother?
everything in this is why bother?
It's going to get destroyed again because we've had 60 years to prepare, but we still don't know how to fight these things when they show up.
What are we going to do? You think I'm going to buy a bunch of new furniture? You think I'm going to fill this with restoration hardware shit?
I've lost 70 Nintendos. I'm not buying another Nintendo.
I'm not buying another Nintendo unless it's a Switch. I'm going to take it with me.
Yeah, that's right.
Stupid.
Everything is portable now. Like inside, there should be a button that like folds everything up into walls and like steel enclosed walls or something.
By the way, how fucked up is Wi-Fi and cell phone service in this world? Those towers getting taken down all the time.
Yeah.
When does your phone reliably work? Are smartphones even worth it in this world? Probably
they had
not.
to have gone to like satellite now. That's the only way.
But we use satellites still, and we still need towers and shit.
But no, you send we ping directly to a satellite from our phone.
Okay, so more satellites.
So many
more.
satellites.
Blocking out
Coded.
the sun.
Yes.
Yeah.
No sun,
Okay.
only satellites.
No sun, only satellites. Okay, that makes sense to me. Yeah, but I think it's a very bleak looking future. Even the Zillion ship is like a very sad looking thing. Nothing in this movie, once again, maybe this plays to the strength of like they're building a world, but like no place feels lived in, no place feels warm or inviting.
It's just like Dune.
Like even like when they do like the interviews and stuff, like the TV interviews, it's all happening in like a white void.
That might
for
be
no one.
that might be a budget.
No, I think it's all a budget thing, okay? But we're extrapolating here,
That
okay?
might be budget.
Let's assume it was a creative choice. And they're just trying to show that this is a world that's been rebuilt 12 times, and who cares if you got art on the walls? Fuck it.
Yeah, all art at this point is gone. Like, because
museums are gone.
Because all that stuff's been
gone.
destroyed 700 times.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet there's cults. I bet there's kaiju.
Oh, there's kaiju cults.
That is
Rampant.
literally a god.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there must be. The fact that Nolan's done that is actually insane.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing. Well, I mean, I guess it's like basically Lovecraft does that, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Where he's basically like we
don't know what it is,
except
or
they're
why.
like unknowable, I guess. Though sometimes you see. Do you see Cthulhu at some point? Probably in one of these things. But yeah, it
comes
kind
out
of
of the
that
ocean.
like. Yeah, but his is more, unknowable terror is driving you crazy. This would just be people crazy.
What do you, there's got to be people, like, can you imagine? It's like, we worship Godzilla. We worship Dogman.
There would, absolutely. It'd be like, they would, to someone, they would be like the pantheon of like Greek gods, basically, where you pray to each one for different things. Like, for Dogman, for King Caesar, you get
never gonna
you get
remember
rad
that.
ball skills.
Stupid face.
To crayfish, you get
shrimp boils.
Shrimp boils. Your boils are so good. May your boils be blessed. May your corn soften and be flavorful.
May your broth be spicy.
May you enjoy your Zatarans.
Which one would you worship? Would it be King Caesar? I don't know if you get the
I
most.
really like King Caesar. Just
are you
because
picking
he's
your god
goofy
based
as
on your goof? Like I'm like,
yeah.
I'm gonna.
I don't know.
I'm gonna put.
See, I can't even remember how many are in here because this is why I had to list them all.
Most.
Who would I do? Not who would I do?
I'd probably like outside of Mothra because Mothra feels pretty safe.
Mothra feels like you could do a chill religion. Like
Yeah.
I do feel like
Mothra's
would be,
the Buddhism.
That's what I was gonna say. Mothra feels like a Buddhism piece is there's at the center of it somehow. Rebirth, of course.
I think
'cause he was
Mothra's a she.
caterpillar. Yes, she is a she. You're right.
But probably Ghidorah is the one that would pick up the steam the most because that's the most scary.
Yeah, he is the scariest one and the most powerful.
But and that's the problem with all Godzilla movies too, is like Godzilla always triumphs, but just because like all of a sudden he does.
Oh yeah, there's nothing he does. At least in this one, they're like we give him a power boost. So then that's it.
Yeah.
But wouldn't the power that Ghidorah is sucking out of him make him more powerful?
Yeah.
Anyway, they're Kaisers. It's fine. It doesn't matter. We can't even go into that because that's impossibly stupid.
Okay.
We can't even go into the Kaiser thing. Yeah, I think I'd have to go with King Caesar.
Okay. Good.
And I think he would bless your salads. Obviously.
Good salads. Well, then you
Great
would
salads.
You would want to probably do it with the shrimp boil too, then just to
you do it all. What,
have
all
a good Sunday.
I could probably make all of them food themed if I really wanted to and worship all of them. I would like to talk about one thing. I think we have to go to Future Style Corner.
We do.
Because I need to talk about, we can talk about a lot of things. I wrote some things down here. Obviously, we love the BMX motocross armor that the M organization
but like
uses.
shittier than BMX armor.
Yeah, but I love that
inspired by
yes.
BMX armor,
yes.
but shittier than.
Easily. More flimsy by far. But the real thing that we need to talk about is the M organization's Nazi uniforms.
Whoa.
Like,
when is this? 2004?
2004.
That shit happened so long ago?
And listen, there are people that have way more cultural understanding and things like that. But if you're
I'm just saying they've known.
If you are the average Westerner, you're watching this movie and you're like, oh yeah, they were on that side of that war. Uh-oh.
Oh, that's why Godzilla exists in the first place.
Are they still doing that?
Did you learn nothing?
Well, it's just like one of those things where, like, in the Western world, that uniform where it looks very clean cut, black with nipple patches for some reason, and then a red armband. Like, in the Western world, you are immediately like, that silhouette and that armband, that is an evil man.
You are SS.
These are the bad guys. Like, even if you're not saying, you don't even have to say that they're Nazis, but you're just like, that is universally known. These are the bad guys.
Yeah.
The good guys, our good guy mutants are running around dressed like fucking Nazis for half this movie. And it's fucking crazy.
It is crazy.
And it's one of those things that, listen, if anyone has like a better cultural perspective, we probably could have asked a couple of our friends and actually done research and done. But like, if anyone has insight into that, but like, it just seems like a weird choice. It's clearly they just, as a culture, maybe don't think of it the same way.
They got
or like,
man.
I don't know, but it's like, really, it's like the one part of this movie, of a very tremendously weird movie that throws 300 ideas at you just casually in this. Like, oh, they're dressing like Nazis, huh? Okay.
So it's 2004 then when we were finally like, maybe we can take some of the Nazi stuff back.
We're taking it back. We're taking back Tiny Mus. This may have been, is this around the time when MJ was like, I can rock a Hitler stash? Michael Jordan was like, we can take it back. There's been enough time. Yeah. That might be around that time. I don't know. But it was
like swastika didn't always mean Nazi. It was a symbol for whatever.
Yeah.
Just like an all black uniform with a red armband meant like not a Nazi.
Yeah. It's like, oh, no. They're not Nazis. This red armband doesn't have a swastika on it. All right. Cool.
But let's just say they kind of salted the earth for that whole look.
Yeah. Let's just say that we're listen, we're not saying that Hugo Boss isn't good at designing clothes. We're just saying that we don't wear those. All right. They're just kind of done.
Yeah.
We're not saying they're not sharp, but they're not. Let's not do it. There's implication. The implications.
Look, I know the black uniform and red armband bring out your anime mascara, but there are so many other types.
But here's
of
the
clothes.
thing. I think the confusing thing is like, actually, that if it was the bad guys, like if the Zillions came out and they were like, we're dressed like Nazis.
Yeah.
And you're like,
bad guys.
Yeah, they're bad guys. We know. Okay. Okay. So the bad guys are dressed like Nazis. We get it. It's the fact that they made a clear choice that the good guy organization, and assuming that this is run by the UN was like, they should have Nazi uniforms for sure.
That's a future we're positing, is that we're over it by then. All of it, World War II, everything.
I guess so. Yeah, we're like, listen, big. We got bigger fish to fry. All right, everyone,
Kaijus.
just wear whatever
we have
you
a big
want.
shrimp. Literally,
We have a big shrimp to fry. We're having a boil.
Whatever you want, wear whatever you want. I don't care.
We're boiling the ocean. Yeah, that was like the one thing in this movie where I was like, oh, we're doing that.
I was more concerned.
I don't like future fashion.
Yeah, I was more concerned with why they had nipple patches.
The nipple patches are absurd.
Yeah,
and once again, it's a film. Everything was an intentional choice.
Yeah.
The nipple patches, the armband, the whole look.
Someone had to say, yes, that.
Yes. Yes. They should have it perfectly over their nipples. Both of them. That's the whole thing. If it was asymmetrical, if it was just over one nipple, then you're like, well, yeah, they put a patch on the uniform. But it's over both. All right, whatever. That's the future style corner. That's really all I needed to talk about, was that I just was like, okay, yeah, I guess we're just over it. I think
so.
Like
2004.
We're just over it.
I think that was a whiff. I think we're still not over it.
It was a whiff.
I'm just gonna
say. Bad prediction. Yeah. In this movie, they posit in 2020, Nazis haven't reared their head for a long time.
We're fine
and
with
we're
it.
over it.
Yeah.
Weirdly, a huge whiff.
Yeah, whiff. What do you got in odds and ends here?
Nothing. That was just me talking.
What's a Sum 41 shit about?
Oh, did you know that Sum 41 has a huge song in this?
Was that
it's in
them?
the final battle when that rock song kicks in? That's Sum 41.
No way.
It is a Sum 41 song. We're all to blame.
All I remember thinking about, like, what the fuck is this butt rock doing?
Nope, it's Sum 41.
Holy
and I was
shit.
like, I guess that's not oh god, what is it called when it's in the scene? It's not
diegetic.
It's not diegetic. So
Yeah.
I guess I was like, and my first thought was like, are they implying that Sum 41 was going to be really big in 2020 still? Which is wrong, but it's not diegetic. It's just clearly someone loved Sum 41 or Sum 40. It's also one of those things where it's like, okay, I'll give it to you. Maybe that guy's kind of famous because maybe Sum 41 was still really big in Japan
in 2001.
In 2004.
Or, wait, when did this come
2004.
Okay.
So maybe in 2003. I mean, that wouldn't be too long since they were big, right?
That's high school, college.
I could see them still being like a big name in a place like Japan or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
Ew.
Weird choice.
Weird choice. All the other shit happening. There's giant monsters fighting. I'm like, the weirdest thing going on right now is
the Sum 41 song. They should have just changed the lyrics of Fat Lip to be Godzilla. Like, storming through the party like a name is Godzilla.
Killing big shrimp and yeah, that sucks. I had no idea that's who that was.
Yeah.
And then I like that you needed to bring up the earring. The earring.
I didn't know when I was going to bring it up. I didn't know when it was come up naturally, but like at some point I needed to point it out.
I just want Godzilla to know he would look dope with an earring.
Someone call Godzilla. Let him. I got to like his design. The cool thing about Godzilla is that his design varies from movie to movie and era to era.
Yeah.
Not always movie to movie, but era to era for sure. But I think that's the big thing about all the modern era of movies is he was always, it's like, oh, what's his design going to be this time? What's it going to be? And I'm not saying all Godzillas would look good with an earring, but I think this specific one, Final Wars Godzilla, could fucking rock an earring pretty
and this
good.
one was the one,
and I think it's a hoop A small hoop.
That's got to be
not a
hoop.
big hoop.
Okay, not a stud.
No, not a stud.
I think this would have been the perfect Godzilla though, because maybe Last Ronin from Ninja Turtles is like poisoning me a little bit for this, but there's always that redesign of a classic character where they're like grizzled and
make them grizzled.
They can tell they've been through the shit, like scars or like pieces of metal that are permanently lodged in them. This would have been the perfect time to have the chain hook like in their ear or whatever.
Absolutely.
What if it was a dangly chain?
I would do that.
You do that?
With the Prince symbol.
Whoa, neat.
Whoa. He's a fan.
Good thing we used those Prince chains.
Why did you give him a Prince earring, but then have Sum 41 do the song?
Prince was too expensive.
Prince was too expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. Okay, I feel like we've hit everything.
Oh yeah, everything.
We thought there wouldn't be enough to talk about, but there's
too
much to talk about. But it also is like, you do a movie like The Postman, and The Postman really leans into what that future is.
Yeah.
This is like, there's a million ideas, but they kind of don't really talk about what the world is like. But you could certainly make leaps.
There is yet to be a practical, like, I think Pacific Rim is as close as it's gotten.
But even then, you don't see the regular world. I was thinking about Pacific Rim.
There's that scene where there's like the carcass in the middle, like where Charlie was.
Yeah, but you don't see how regular people live. You know what I mean? Like, it's still military. You do see like kind of the like that cool stuff where you see the big car, but like it's not like they show where families. I don't remember. Maybe they do. I mean, like, it's been a while since I've watched that movie.
Do you know there's a 2?
Yeah.
Is there anyone in 2?
Boyega.
Oh.
He's the son of Idris Elba.
Is it good?
It's worth watching. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you should watch it.
Oh.
I don't think it's as good as the first one, but like the first one's a fucking banger. So
interesting. Okay.
But yeah, it's worth it.
That's the closest it's gotten to be like, hey, we're a very militaristic race of organisms that would not, like, the second this happens, the next day we're like, all right, let's start figuring out how to fight against this.
I mean, I think that's the thing at least this movie does that a lot of Godzilla movies don't address, which is like, there's been a long history of these. We know it's happening. We know it's going to keep happening. So at least we've tried.
So at least we have our teens.
So we've at least conscripted some teens, which is the go-to move for most of at least American history, is get the teens to fight it.
Yeah.
That's kind of our thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least this future is like, I don't think it's effective. I don't think they've thought it through. I would think they would do definitely more a Pacific Rim thing, but like, it's at least in this movie, they're at least positing like, this has been happening for 60 years. At least we have gunships.
Yeah, or drill ships.
Something. At least we can like turn them away. Like, we can't kill them clearly, but we have these ships that maybe can like.
They kill that one C1.
Oh yeah, whatever his name is.
With the drill ship.
Yeah, that's under the sea though.
Yeah,
which actually makes it seem like it'd be harder to kill it.
That drill ship can also fly.
Yeah,
it clearly just
Manda is the one they kill at the beginning. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand how we do anything as on a planet in this world. I don't get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Okay.
What would you take from the future of 2020? Of this
future? The carcass of the big shrimp.
Boy!
Oh, boy. We have a Louisiana boil the size of Louisiana.
Yep. There's not enough Old Bay in the world for that guy.
We block off the connector of the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
And we just toss it in there.
We boil him.
We boil him.
Yeah. I could do that.
Yeah. Because honestly, nothing else.
God. Yeah. Like I said, I think this is a pretty bleak future. And there's not a lot of like, there's a lot of big ideas, but there's not a lot of like small things that I would want to bring back.
You know what I could also take? The bald alien's outfit. Just so I could show up and be like, oh God, he's wearing it.
Oh no, again. I will say, okay, along those lines, I was pretty obsessed with their sunglasses that are just like rectangular wraparound sunglasses. Yeah. I would probably take a pair of those. They probably make those now.
But there's no way those don't exist.
But I'd take them from 2020.
Okay.
I love that we're like, not the gunships, not the
No, it all
BMX.
looks like shit.
There's basically nothing cool in this world that like I would help my current life.
Like a chunk of Godzilla or something that I could have in my house and be like, that's an actual piece of Godzilla.
Yeah, good luck proving to everyone that's what it is.
You know what Godzilla tastes like? I do.
I ate him.
It's not good.
I ate him. He's very gummy. Okay. I think we both know the answer to this final question. Would you live in this future?
Nah, fuck that.
No, I hate this future.
Sucks. Don Fry's a hero? Are you kidding me?
I think any kaiju future is truly a nightmare.
Yeah. Anytime.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Not only could it be an earthquake or a tornado, it could be a giant bug.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. I mean, like, if it was... I think there are certainly, if you were setting up your own kaiju sort of world to tell your own stories, I think you'd do better to like set up like rules. Like I think Pacific Rim does that, where they're like, they all come from the Pacific, they only come from there, and they're all basically this.
Yeah.
There's not like a flying one, a bug one, a spider one. Like we can at least like predict. Like there's time where we can kind of predict, and we know where they're coming from, and we basically kind of know what they look like.
And we've already nuked that hole like 60 times.
So like we can kind of there's something to it. But yeah, the especially this world, the Godzilla world of kaijus, where it's a fucking Wild West of any kind of monster at any given time showing up. Like fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Super not interested. And aliens and mutants.
And
no, thank you.
And there's 2 tiny women, and you can't steal them.
You can't steal them.
Mothra will kill you.
She hates it. Don't steal her little ladies.
Like compared to the first Godzilla handful of Godzillas, like Mothra's body count for getting her tiny women back is massive.
It's pretty high. Yeah.
Even when she's just a big giant larva thing, just rolling through towns.
She does not care.
Where are my tiny women?
And this is the problem. If Larva Mothra's fucking things up like that, we have no chance. We just don't. This is a world where like eventually we're just dead. Like this is the end of humanity.
Yeah.
We're not coexisting with these things.
No.
They're gonna get us eventually. Yeah. Just because Godzilla mowed his way through all of them in this movie, that don't mean they ain't coming back. Or there's more at all times.
There will be more.
Yeah.
As soon as the next movie is needed, there will be more.
Yeah, pretty much, which has already happened, so we're fine. Well, that wraps it up. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Yesterday's Tomorrow Today. Did I say that right?
Nope.
Yesterday's Tomorrow Today.
There you go.
Wow, I had a stroke. Follow us on all of our social media. Yes, Tom Today on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
While it's legal.
While it's legal. Maybe it's illegal by the time we release this.
Ooh, in the future?
Ooh, in the future.
Where TikTok's illegal?
Wow. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/YesTomToday, where you can join us. If you like the show, please, the best way to show us support and to say that you want us to do another season of this show is to show us support on Patreon. We will, of course, have bonus segments on there. This week's bonus segment will be Joey and I talking about our favorite kaiju media, of course. But yeah, I think that wraps it up for us. Thanks again for joining us. I've been Kyle McBay.
And I'm Joey Ranch.
And we'll talk to you next time.
Goodbye.
In the future.
In the future.
But the past.
Year this year.